Thanks for tuning in. Ham Talk Live will be on the air shortly. Please stand by. Thanks for tuning in. Ham Talk Live will be on the air shortly. Please stand by. This episode of Ham Talk Live is brought to you by Tower Electronics. For cables, connectors, and more, call 920-435-2973 or visit pl-259.com. And by the Ham Station. Get your new radio or antenna by calling 800-729-4373 or go to hamstation.com.
It's Ham Radio.
Hey, good evening, everyone. It's time for Ham Talk Live. It's episode number 68. Bryant Rascoll, KG5HVO, a 13-year-old CW operator and contester, recorded live on Thursday, June 8th, 2017. I'm your host, Neil Rapp, WB9VPG. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Ham Talk Live. And yes, tonight, Bryant Rascoll, KG5HVO, is with us. And we'll talk about some of his CW operations and some pretty cool things that he's done. So we'll talk about that in just a few minutes. And we'll, of course, take your calls, tweets, and comments live as we go. Last week, Jerry Rosilius, WB9Z, was on the show, and he just was inducted into the CQDX Hall of Fame, and so he was here to talk about that and some of his de-expeditioning. So if you missed that, go over to hamtalklive.com and pull that up, or you can listen to the podcast version over on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, SoundCloud, and we're also over on YouTube. And this week, we'd like to welcome our listeners from iHeart Podcasts. You can listen on demand there as well. That's at iHeartRadio.com or on the iHeart Radio app, in addition to our website and the podcasting outlets. But listen live, you want to go one place, hamtalklive.com. So welcome to all the people on iHeart listening to Ham Talk Live now. So get your questions ready to go, and we'll talk a little bit with Bryant. And then you can give us a call at 812-NET-HAM1. It's 812-638-4261. Or you can call us on Skype. The username is Ham Talk Live. Or you can tweet us, and our Twitter handle is at Ham Talk Live. So I'll be right back, and we'll jump right in with Bryant after this word from the Ham Station right here on Ham Talk Live. This episode of Ham Talk Live is brought to you by the Ham Station. For over 37 years, the Ham Station has sold new and used radios, antennas, accessories, and equipment to hams everywhere. Give Dan or Jeff a call at 800-729-4373 or order online at hamstation.com. Ham Station carries all the major brands like ICOM, Yaesu, and Kenwood, and they have a wide selection of radio scanners, MFJ accessories, Heil sound products, amplifiers by Mirage and Ameritron, Cushcraft antennas, and more. Easy online ordering is at hamstation.com or call 1-800-729-4373 to place an order and talk it over with the experts. The Ham Station, proud to sponsor this episode of Ham Talk Live.
5 out of 4 people have trouble with fractions. Now, here's Neil Rapp with more Ham Talk Live.
Ham Station has you covered for new, used equipment, either one. Give them a call at 800-729-4373 or go to hamstation.com. Tell them you heard it on Ham Talk Live. Ham Talk Live is on the air every Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Well, tonight our guest is Bryant Rascoll, KG5HVO. He's 13 years old. He's an avid CW operator and contester and recently won the essay contest for the Dave Coulter Memorial Youth DX Adventure. He'll be going to Costa Rica in August on that DX Adventure trip. Bryant's been a ham for about 2 years and found out about ham radio through the Boy Scouts. And he is the only ham in his family. That was his sole journey into ham radio. Bryant's been in several of the big contests like CQ Worldwide, Straight Key Night, North American QSO Party, ARRL DXCW, and CQ Worldwide CW, just name a few. And he is a member of ARRL and Yacht, which is the Young Amateurs Communications Ham Team, the Jefferson ARC, and the Crescent City ARG. So we'd like to thank them for their support of Bryant, and he lives in the greater New Orleans area. So, Bryant, welcome to Ham Talk Live tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Neal. It's great to be here.
Well, I was very happy to run into you at Hamvention because it gave us a chance to chat a little bit and talk, and so I wanted to make sure to get you on the show and share some of the stories from Hamvention. But before we get into that, I've got to introduce a new feature on the show. And I apologize you won't be able to hear it because the sound effects and stuff doesn't go through the Skype line here. But we've got a new feature on the show. Now, I don't know if you heard the Spurious Emissions Band episode, but we talked to the Spurious Emissions Band, and I kind of jokingly said, hey, we've got this idea for a song. And in fact, when I saw you at Hamvention, you were talking to Ward Silver, the lead guy in the band. And so he was saying, yeah, you got to listen to this song that we did. And it's about Baofeng, and instead of Wild Thing, it's Baofeng. So I decided that we're going to have a new feature on the show, and every time somebody says the word Baofeng, we're going to play a little clip of the Baofeng song. So here we go. So if somebody says Baofeng, so we're going to play that whenever somebody says Baofeng. So that's just the usual craziness here on Ham Talk Live. So it's kind of like some of those other shows, you know, whenever somebody says a word like Baofeng, they'll play a little clip of it. So anyway, so we'll throw that in. So be aware if you say that word, we're going to play it again. So anyway, hey, let's get into the CW bit now. At Contest University, Tim Duffy, K3LR, was talking about a contact that he had made with you, and kind of gave some of the history of that. And thanks to Tim, K3LR, for providing some audio of this. We're going to listen to it here in a minute. But tell us about your contact with K3LR.
Well, my contact with K3LR was very special to me. It was in the CQ Worldwide 2016 CW contest in late November. And the special thing about it was I was using the hand mic of my Yaesu FT900. And it was very challenging to be able to use the hand mic. I used it in the form of a straight key, if you could imagine that, using the push-to-talk key to key the CW. And I stumbled on to K3LR's frequency, and gave him a call. And it took him a couple tries to get the call down. And he eventually, at least I think he eventually got it. My copying wasn't so up to date yet, although I could recognize the K3LR and the 5995 was the exchange. Let's see. And I was able to make the contact, and I sent him a QSL card afterwards, which gave me a new state, Pennsylvania.
And so you're operating this big CW contest without a key. You're just using the button on your microphone.
Pretty much. Most people think of a microphone for a phone contest, which is a good generalization. But I figured out how to use the hand mic to just use it as like a straight key, since I didn't have a straight key at the time.
So,
nothing was gonna stop me from participating in the CQ Worldwide contest.
So yeah, and I remember when we were standing there and talking to you and your mom says, I don't get this. What's the big deal about using your microphone as a Morse code key? And so, I was like, well, most people don't actually do it that way. That's kind of a hard way to do it because, it's just a little bitty switch. And while, yes, it does do the same function, that's just not that's not one of the easier ways to do it. And so most people don't do it that way. So, she was kind of like, what's the big deal? So that was kind of fun that
was good.
We explained it to her. But, so I'm going to mute you here for a second and we're going to play the audio of this that K3LR sent me. He was able to get this on one of the remote SDRs. He was able to find a copy of this contact. So let's listen to that now, and you can listen and see how good Bryant is with this hand mic sending the CW. All right, so there you've got it. Hey, right, that's a pretty good job on that hand mic now.
It was very difficult to use it. I'd never heard the recording until Contest University, and I was blown away, especially by being able to hear the side tone, because I didn't have a side tone to hear basically the da-da-da-da-da. So it was basically all just transmitting, and I had to judge it on the time intervals. But it was a fun contact, that's for sure.
Yeah, and getting K3LR, that's they don't get much bigger than that. So thanks again to K3LR for sending that audio along. And I was telling you also, Dayton, about as hams we have to improvise, and so this is what you did. You took the mic that you had and you put the tone on. As you said, you couldn't even hear what you were really sending, and improvise and made it. So I was telling you about this recording that I had found on YouTube, And it was this guy using his mic, but he didn't use the mic as the CW key. He just keyed down and used his mouth, used his voice as the CW. So take a listen to this. This is Mouth Morse on YouTube. I took a little clip of it. So that's another way to improvise. Not sure how legal that would be, but yeah, it didn't sound too bad. What you heard it? What'd you think?
I thought it was amazing. I mean, I've never thought about using your voice to make side tones, and I saw that he had switched his radio onto upper sideband. So I guess the science worked out. And when you're talking about hams improvising, I met a gentleman at Contest University that used a piece of wire as a CW key, and I don't know how he did it, but he just made a pigtail with some wire and used it as a CW key, and he said he made 3 contacts in about 3 hours.
Well, again, I'm not sure the legality of going upper sideband and using your mouth, but it was pretty funny. Whatever. I actually found that looking for some YouTube recordings of some Morse code QSOs for the kids at school to listen to and to practice with, and we ran across that, and we just died laughing because it was just so funny to hear this guy doing that. So as a result of this, and Tim finding out about, you're using your hand mic on this, he and some of the guys got together and presented you with a bencher straight key, so that way you didn't have to do that anymore. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, the people at DX Engineering were very generously presented me with a straight key. And it came I think it arrived arrived on Christmas Eve. And my mom, I had no idea that it came. She just got a weird email saying that some products from DX Engineering had been shipped to our house. I didn't know it at the time. So when this package arrived, she wrapped it up and put it under the Christmas tree. And on Christmas morning when I opened up, she was like, "This is from the people at DX Engineering. Look inside." And I was like, Wow. I was not expecting this. Very generous, very generous.
So you get your straight key, and so you're doing a lot of these contests with it, and now I know did straight key night. Did you have the straight key, the bencher straight key by then, or were you still using your mic?
I was using the straight key on straight key night. I made about 10 contacts. I had a blast doing it. I had some very good rag chews with hams across the southeast, and even one QSO to Arizona on 40 meters. I had a lot of fun. I'm sure a lot of other people did. I was just glad to have 10 QSOs in the log. And my first contact with the straight key was with KP4JRS in Puerto Rico on 17 meters. So that was very special. Getting a new band country. That was a new band country to me, with a new key.
Yeah, well, that's pretty cool. And then at Contest University, you get surprised again. Tim calls you up in the front of everybody, about 300 people, and goes through and plays the audio that you just heard here on the show, and starts talking about Bryant and presented you with something pretty special. So why don't you tell everybody about that?
Yes, sir. So when Tim Duffy, Mr. Duffy, called me up to the stage, I was very nervous. I didn't know what was going on. He played the recording of the CW contact, and I was holding up the hand mic so everybody in the room could see. what I was using as a key, and I'm trying to remember. So then he pulls out a white box, and in the box is a Bengali vertical type paddle. I'm not sure the exact name of it. And now he's like, and there's another surprise. And he gives me this Bengali. I'm just like, wow, did this seriously just happen? I mean, not every 13-year-old gets to have a Bengali. It was very special, very special.
And there was yet another surprise to it.
Yes, and it had even been autographed by Mr. Bengali, I2TRF. And I really appreciate that. That's really special, and it means a lot to me.
Yeah, so not only do you have a Bengali, which I don't even have, but an autographed Bengali. And you can see the pictures of that. We put them up on our Facebook and Twitter just a few minutes ago, and we'll get them on Instagram a little bit after the show. But you can check those out at hamtalklive.com on our social media sites and see the autograph and the presentation there. And you can see his 3 keys, one of which is the hand mic, and then the bencher straight key, and then the Bengali. So you can get over there and check those out when you get a chance and see those. So what made you interested in getting on CW as a 13-year-old? What inspired you to do that?
What got me interested in CW? Well, I have these little snap circuit kits. It's an electronics kit, mainly aimed at kids. And one of the projects was a Morse code oscillator. And so I made this oscillator in about an afternoon. And I learned how to call CQ using a Morse code legend that you can get off of Google. And I learned how to call CQ. I think it was like CQ, CQ, DE, KG5HVO, K. And I started talking about my project to some of the members of the Jefferson Amateur Radio Club. And one of the members said, "Here, how about you just borrow this?" And it was a iambic paddle with a side tone speaker in it. So I started using this paddle, trying to get the hang of how to use a paddle, trying to figure out, when you squeeze the two together, it makes da-da-da-da-da-da. And I just kept increasing my speed about two words a minute every day. And so in about a month, I'm not going to say I was at 60 words a minute, but I was pretty proficient at around 20 words a minute. And that was some high speed to me at the time. And so I would call CQ test, CQTEST, as you'll hear contesters do. And so it just basically took off from there. And I got my receiving skills up, and I started having rag chews with myself. So that's how I got into CW.
That's a great way to practice. That's a great idea. So what's been your favorite contest to work so far?
My favorite contest to work, I really like working the CQ Worldwide contest because you're allowed to work domestic stations, unlike ARLDX, where it's just DX. But I also like how you're allowed to work. It's a DX-oriented contest, so there's a lot of DX stations pointing their antennas at North America, which makes getting DX a little easier for smaller stations. Also really like the North American QSO party because it's a more relaxed contest. And with this contest, you can get worked all states in about one day if you stick with it.
Very cool. Well, I'm glad that we ran into you at Hamvention and heard about all this, and you got a chance to go on this big trip here in August to Costa Rica, and just glad to hear that you're interested in all of this and keeping with it and making things work, even when you don't have necessarily all the best equipment. But now you're covered on the CW keys for sure. All right, well, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, you'll have a chance to call in and talk to Bryant and ask some questions. You can do that at 812-NET-HAM1, or you can Skype us You can get us there on Ham Talk Live on Skype, and you can also tweet to us. That's at Ham Talk Live. So we'll be back and do that right after this word from Tower Electronics right here on Ham Talk Live. This episode of Ham Talk Live is brought to you in part by Tower Electronics. Tower Electronics has been the Ham's Dime store since 1978. When you need connectors, mobile and handheld antennas, cables, or adapters, visit Scott or Jill at a Hamfest near you. Or you can order online at pl-259.com or call 920-435-2973. Stock up on those supplies like PL259 and N connectors, SMA adapters, audio cables, soldering supplies, mobile antennas, and ham sticks. Their silver-plated N connectors are even used on the International Space Station. Tower Electronics carries MFJ, Comet, Daiwa, OPEC, Workman, and Ham Pro products. And don't miss their 0% off sale going on now. Tower Electronics, online at pl-259.com, proud to sponsor this episode of Ham Talk Live.
Ham Talk Live with Neil Rapp.
Join the conversation. Call us on voice with Skype at Ham Talk Live or give us a call at 812-NET-HAM1. That's 812-638-4261. Now, here's more Ham Talk Live.
Thanks to our friends Scott and Jill at Tower Electronics for sponsoring the show once again tonight. They've been with us all the way to bring you Ham Talk Live. June 10th, they're in Newberry, Michigan, so that's where they'll be at this weekend. And then June 18th, Monroe, Michigan, and July 8th, they'll be in Oak Creek, Wisconsin. And if you're not at one of those ham fests, give them a call at 920-435-2973 or visit them online at pl-259.com and tell them you heard it on Ham Talk Live. And be sure to listen to us every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time at hamtalklive.com, and check out our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Just search for Ham Talk Live. And again, you can see those pictures from this year's Contest University with Bryant and his mom, and with Tim Duffy, and with the Keys. You can see all of those over there. Okay, so it's time for your calls now. So if you have a question or a comment for Bryant, give us a call. The phone number, 812-NET-HAM1. That's 812-638-4261. Or you can Skype us. The Skype name is Ham Talk Live, or you can tweet to us at Ham Talk Live as well. And I will mention Skype is being particular again, and so we were having some issues with the phone earlier. I got the phone working, but we didn't get quite a chance to test it fully and get it all running. So Skype and Twitter may be the better ways to get a hold of us tonight because of the technical things, but we'll give it a try at 812-NET-HAM1, 812-638-4261. Okay, so while we're waiting on the tweets and the calls and the Skype and all that, let's talk a little bit about DXCC. Where are you with DXCC so far, and how's that going for you?
Well, DXCC, for me at least, it's going particularly well for my situation. A very small station, although on Saturday mornings, the very generous people at the Jefferson Amateur Radio Club have allowed me to use their equipment to get some new entities in. Currently, my count for DXCC is 83 entities confirmed. I have about 125 total entities. Not all have been confirmed. I'm using QSL cards for my confirmation method, so it's not as easy as LOTW. And I'm still working on getting some of those cards back. I don't even have Italy confirmed yet, so I'm hoping to get an Italian card soon. I'm using the contest as a way to get the DXCC at least started. I think contests are a great way to just score a lot of new entities in just one weekend.
Yeah, great. Okay, well, we're going to stop here and see if our audio is working here. So we've got a phone call on the line. Are you there? Hello? Hello. Yeah, it sounds like our audio problem is still there. Yeah, and they're calling back again. We'll try it one more time and see if we can get anything, but I think we've got audio problems on the phone line here. Hello? Yeah, sounds like our phone line issues with Skype are still in play. So give us a tweet or call us on Skype. If you call us on Skype, that'll come through just fine, and or tweet us. But it sounds like the phone line is out of commission for tonight, so sorry about that. We'll work on that, and Skype put out another update and it still has the same bug in it, and so we didn't get that fixed. So if you can, give us a call on Skype. It's Ham Talk Live, or tweet us over at Ham Talk Live. Okay, sorry I cut you off there, but I wanted to try to get the call in. So, yeah, DXCC's one of the things that we're working on at school. We've got, like you, we've got about 120, 130 countries confirmed, but or it worked, but trying to get all the confirmations has been a real challenge.
Yes, that's the frustrating thing, is when you work a DXCC and then you see they only do EQSL. That's the frustrating thing for me. So yeah, I've gotten a few of the DXpeditions. There was a DXpedition back in August to Pitcairn Island, VP6AH. I got that card in, so I was very happy. And then in February, I think the TX5T DXpedition wrapped up, so I was able to actually get them on CW and sideband. We had a good solar sunspot during that DXpedition, so I was able to work them on the high bands, which was quite a surprise to me because I don't have very good antennas for the high bands. So y'all use the 2-element step IR at club. How does it work out?
Yeah, oh yeah, we love that. At school, we've got the 2-element with the dipole loop, and it really makes a difference. We can bust through the pileups a lot easier, and it's a great antenna. So let's see here. We've got some messages coming in, and it looks like Dr. Scott Wright, K0MD, was the person that was trying to call. So he's over here on Twitter here. And let's see. Does Bryant have advice on how to make contesting more appealing to young hams?
How to make contesting appealing to young hams? Well, first and foremost, I would say make it fun. Don't make it where you have to sit in the chair for 48 hours. You have to make it fun. There is a myth. What do you call it? There was an article written by a ham in the New Orleans area, and he said that contesting in kids' eyes was like gaming on the radio, because you have to get certain points like multipliers. There's running, which I really like running. So it's kind of like gaming on the radio, but except with gaming, there's not that unpredictability of the ionosphere, which I really like. It's just so unpredictable.
All right, very good. And we've got a tweet here from Chris Bro, KD5HVO. It says he's excited to go to Costa Rica with you this summer on the Youth DX edition. And Chris is a cool guy. Spent some time with him and his dad and some of the gang from Voice of America over Hamvention weekend too. And so it sounds like you guys are going to have a ton of fun down there.
Oh yes, hello Chris. It's good to hear you at least. So I'm looking forward to going to Costa Rica with Chris and Austin, WA8CCS. He'll be going with us as well for the Dave Coulter Memorial Youth DX adventure. We'll be on HF Not sure what bands. Maybe we'll be able to work a little bit at 160 meters, but not sure yet. It looks like the station is going to be really nice. We're going to have a long periodic, a 6-meter beam, and some very nice radios to operate. So I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm sure Chris is too.
Yeah, sounds like a good team going again on that, and that's a pretty cool thing. I wish I'd been able to go on those things when I was a kid. That would have been a ton of fun. But you've actually, I know in reading some of your stuff, you actually have tried doing the SO2R thing. So how did you get roped into that, and how's the SO2R thing coming along?
Well, I got into SO2R at one of the big contest stations in the southeast Louisiana area. The station was KN5O. This was during the ARRLDXCW contest, and he has two operating positions, and each operating position has 2 FT1000Ds. And so that's a basic SO2R setup, and he runs multi. And we had one radio on 20, one radio on 10. And so we could balance between 20 and 10 meters. And so we would grab multipliers on 10 meters. The conditions were not that great from what I hear. But 20 meters was a great running band, lots of Europe, very, very good European conditions. We had a few islands call us EA6, which is the Balearic Islands off of the coast of Spain. And I think we even made a contact to Jersey, which is a island off of the coast of France in the English Channel. So it was really fun running SO2R at KN5O, and I'm trying to set it up at my own station. I'll be using a Yaesu FT900 and an Alinco DX SR8T, going each one radio going into a vertical and one into a dipole. And SO2R is a very tricky technique, because you have to balance out two audio channels if you use headphones. But I'm gonna try it, I'm gonna try doing it in the IARU contest, which is in July, and I hope it all goes well.
Yeah, it's a challenge to keep up with one sometimes, let alone two. But at least you're not going to be doing that with your hand mic on CW. So that would be really, really tough to pull that off with SO2R. So now your mom got to come with you to all this stuff. She got to go to that Dayton Hamvention. She got to go to Contest University and all this stuff. So the big question out there is, are your parents going to get licensed? Are your parents going to become hams?
I think my mom is leaning towards getting her license after going to Dayton. She learned a lot of things. I learned a lot. My club is putting on a one-day license class, and she may go to the license class. She just received a few emails today with the study guides and some other material for the class. And so I'm hoping she decides to go, because I think it'll be great for her to get involved in ham radio. And my dad too. My dad's a pilot in the Navy, and so he's very familiar with HF communications and radio technology. So I think he may get his license, although I'm not sure yet. But I think my mom is going to get her license.
Well, we're going to finish up here, but I'll tell you a little story of mine when I was 5 and got my license. My dad and I did it together, but my mom could not stand to hear us talking in Morse code and not have a clue what we were saying. And so that got her into ham radio, because she said, "Oh no, I'm not going to get into ham radio. I'm just going to learn the code so I can know what you guys are saying." And so that was her thing, was the code, and she got the code, and then she was, oh, okay, I'll go ahead and take the test. And so we all ended up doing it about the same time. Mom was a year later, so it all worked out. So maybe Hamvention was the push that needed to happen. So yeah, well, we hope that both of your parents end up becoming hams and studying for that. But it was an absolute pleasure to meet you and your mom at Hamvention, and just happened to run into you, talking to Ward Silver, and wanted to jump in there and say hi, since I didn't get a chance to at Contest University. And thanks so much for coming on the show and sharing the stories. I hope it's been fun, and it's been a lot of fun to talk about all this stuff, and hope it was fun for our listeners as well. So thanks a lot for coming on.
Thank you for having me on, Mr. Rapp. It was great being here. I had a lot of fun.
All right. Well, that's Bryant Rascoll, KG5HVO, and so you'll hear him on the air. Give him a call, and hopefully you can give him a call from Costa Rica coming up in August, along with Chris and a bunch of those guys down there. So looking forward to that. Well, that is a wrap for this week's Ham Talk Live. Thanks to my guest, Bryant Rascoll, KG5HVO, and everyone out there in cyberspace for listening. And for those of you tweeting in, again, sorry about the phone line problems. We'll try to get those solved unless Skype throws us another curveball next week at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And speaking of Hamvention, Michael Coulter, W8CI, is going to be here to talk about what happened at Hamvention and what changes they're going to be making. So if you have any questions or anything that you want to follow up on with Hamvention, why, jump in here next week, and we'll have the official spokesperson of the Dayton Hamvention here to talk about the adjustments that they're going to make and how things went this year. So don't miss out on that. And also don't forget Sean Kutzko, KX9X, will be here. That's the following week, I believe it is. That's the Thursday before Field Day. For your field day questions, and he spent many years as the contest branch manager at ARRL. He's now in public relations there, but he's going to be around to answer your field day rules questions and talk about field day. So if you have any last-minute questions or concerns about field day, be sure to give Sean a call here on the show the Thursday before field day at our regular time. And for a list of all of our upcoming guests, you can find those at hamtalklive.com. So for now, this is Neil Rapp, WB9VPG, saying 7375, and may the good DX be yours.